deep in the forests of North America. As the autumn leaves begin to turn and the first frost settles on the ground, most creatures are preparing to migrate or burrow deep underground to escape the coming cold. But there is one small inhabitant that does something far more radical. It doesn't flee from the winter. It welcomes it. This is the American wood frog, a creature that has mastered a biological feat that seems to defy the very laws of life and death. At first glance, the wood frog is unassuming. It's a small, tan or rust-colored amphibian, easily identified by the dark markings around its eyes that look like a robber's mask. During the summer, it blends perfectly into the leaf litter of the forest floor, hunting for insects and spiders. But as the temperature drops, the wood frog begins a transformation that makes it one of the most resilient animals on Earth. While other frogs hibernate at the bottom of ponds where the water doesn't freeze, the wood frog stays on land. It nestles into a shallow burrow under a layer of leaves and moss. As the air temperature falls below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, the miracle begins. The moment ice crystals touch the frog's skin, its body receives a signal. It doesn't fight the freeze. It prepares for it. In most animals, freezing is a death sentence. When water turns to ice, it expands. If that ice forms inside a living cell, the sharp crystals puncture the cell membrane, causing it to burst and die. To prevent this, the wood frog's liver goes into overdrive. It begins pumping out massive amounts of glucose, a concentrated sugar. This sugar acts as a biological antifreeze. It floods the frog's vital organs and enters the cells, increasing the concentration of the internal fluids so much that it simply cannot freeze. Outside the cells, however, the story is different. The water in the frog's body cavities, the space between its organs, and even the blood in its veins turns into solid ice. At this point, the frog is effectively a frog-sicle. If you were to pick it up, it would feel like a cold, hard stone. If you dropped it, it would clink against the ground. Its heart stops beating. Its lungs stop breathing. There is no brain activity. By every medical definition we apply to humans, the wood frog is dead. It can stay in this state for weeks or even months, enduring temperatures as low as 0 degrees Fahrenheit. It is suspended in a frozen limbo, waiting for a signal that only nature can provide. When the first hints of spring arrive and the ground begins to thaw, the process reverses with startling speed. The wood frog doesn't thaw from the outside in. It thaws from the inside out. The heart, protected by its sugary shield, is the first to restart. A few faint beats send blood flowing through the melting veins. Within hours, the frog begins to twitch. Its lungs take their first gulp of air, and the brain wakes up. Remarkably, there are no long-term side effects. The frog doesn't need a recovery period. Within a day of being frozen solid, the wood frog is often already on the move, hopping toward the nearest vernal pool. This brings us to the next chapter of its life, the race to reproduce. Because they thaw out faster than almost any other amphibian, wood frogs are often the first to arrive at the breeding ponds. Sometimes while ice is still floating on the surface, the males begin their chorus, a sound that doesn't resemble a typical croak, but rather the collective clucking of a flock of ducks. This early start is a calculated risk. By laying their eggs in temporary pools created by melted snow, the wood frogs ensure their tadpoles have a head start before predators like dragonflies or larger frogs wake up. However, these pools are temporary. If the tadpoles don't grow fast enough, The pool will dry up before they can breathe air. It is a high-stakes race against the sun. The eggs are laid in large, gelatinous clumps, often attached to submerged branches. Because the water is still frigid, these clumps are often communal. Dozens of females laying their eggs together. This massive dark mass of eggs absorbs more heat from the sunlight, keeping the developing embryos a few degrees warmer than the surrounding water, accelerating their growth. As the tadpoles hatch and eventually transform into tiny froglets, they leave the water and head back into the forest, carrying with them the same remarkable genetic code that allowed their parents to survive the ice. The American wood frog is a reminder that life finds a way to thrive in the most hostile environments. It challenges our understanding of biology and pushes the limits of what a heart and a brain can endure. It is a tiny, masked survivor that dies every winter, only to be reborn with the spring, proving that sometimes the most extraordinary wonders are hidden right beneath our feet, under a pile of frozen leaves. Thanks for watching.